We're now in week 5, the Silver Spectrum smartphone literacy class. Today we'll be covering useful apps. Have your phone. Here we got another meme. Sorry, son, there's no app. No. So for Wi-Fi Analyzer, this is a fairly useful app.
So it shows you, this is the screen for the 2.4 gigahertz. Remember, for Wi-Fi, there's 2.4, 5, 6, and even 7 gigahertz now. To change bands, you just tap the corner here, and it'll tell you which band it's on now. Right now, it's 2.4. In Canada, we have up to channel 11. In Japan and Germany, they have some of the extra channels. We don't have them in Canada because they're used for something else. So you have the name of the different Wi-Fis here that your phone is detecting. It uses a different color for each one just so you can tell them apart. The colors don't mean anything other than that.
The height is basically that measures the signal strength.
Most routers have the same transmit power because it's capped by the government and it's not very high. It's 1 milliwatt, I think it is. So everybody usually transmits at 1 milliwatt. So if you have a lower peak like this one, it's usually because you're either further away or there's stuff in the way, blocking your line of sight to the router, and you're getting some interference. You can see the blue one here. That's probably the one that this person is physically closer to, although that's still not a very strong signal. At our house, like, we're up in this range, our peak, and we're like near the router. That's what you should look for. Now, does anybody notice anything weird about this graph? There's 11 channels, right? And the center of the peak is the channel you're on. So the yellow's on 1. There's actually a light green, we can't see it. The blue, these ones are all centered on 6. They're on 6. These ones are on 11. How come we have 11 channels and we only use 3 of them? 1, 6, and 11 is the only group of 3 channels that are non-overlapping. As you can see, the width of the peak, that's the actual full spectrum that they're using for that channel. So if you're on channel 1, you're still bleeding into a little bit channel 2 and 3. And 6 bleeds everywhere from 4 all the way to 8. So if everybody parks and piles up on 1, 6, and 11, there's no overlap with other channels. I'm a rebel. In my neighborhood, it's way worse than this. The peaks near me are way higher. Everyone else dog piles onto 1, 6, and 11. I'm on 3 and 8 because my peak is between their peaks. So I have a clear signal. I'm bleeding into their signal, not as much because we're very close. So that's just a strategy.
When we're all on the same channel or frequency, you might have great signal strength, but if you're all on the same frequency, the signal clarity might not be all that great. Basically, yeah, it can then kind of disrupt your Wi-Fi connection and can have buffering, and therefore it could be slower than you'd otherwise want it to be. So this is kind of a good app. You can kind of choose a channel. Gives you a breakdown of which channels are kind of most used. You can also see, again, monitor your signal strength.
If you have issues with the Wi-Fi strength, Wi-Fi quality in your home, download this app. It's free. Fire it up. And you have to know which one's yours. So know the name of your Wi-Fi. TELUS, names theirs TELUS with some number. Shaw, name theirs Shaw. There isn't one here, I think. And other ones would be somebody named their router or renamed their router. Just figure out which one's yours. And then swiping left and right, you go to other screens that give you like a bunch of more nerdy details. This one is good enough to see like see this one here. You can kind of tell there's like a lime green something with a 4. We can't see it because it's exact same curve, exact same height, which means there's something else. Either that router is broadcasting 2 different Wi-Fis, which is possible, or there's something else in the house next to that router that is bringing its own Wi-Fi on the same channel. We had this issue at our house. Like, my phone would drop the Wi-Fi for no reason, but not all the time. Just like there's a day where like it just doesn't want to connect today. I fired this up and I found there's a no-name Wi-Fi, same channel, same signal strength as our router. I went digging around. With the extra screens, I found like a serial number because each of these comes from a device. It has a serial number called a MAC address. The chip that broadcasts the Wi-Fi, it reports its serial number to everybody, including the app. So I found the serial number and the manufacturer. You'll never guess what the manufacturer was. Roku. We have a Roku in the basement 3 feet from the router, and Roku broadcasts its own Wi-Fi so that you can connect to it and cast to it. And somebody watched TV the night before, pressed some button, or the thing reset itself, or I don't know. It does this once in a while. It just wakes up, it broadcasts its own Wi-Fi on the same channel, and it interferes with us because it's a perfect overlap. So I pull the plug on the Roku, all of a sudden the Wi-Fi is all good. Wireless printers like their own Wi-Fi also. Some cameras do. This one has Bluetooth. It might have Wi-Fi. Roku does this. Other streaming devices would do this, like any streaming stick, Fire Stick, whatever. You need to connect to it to stream to it, right? Some doorbells do this. Some home security systems do this. If you have an issue with your Wi-Fi, go look at the screen. If there's a weird thing on the same channel as you, it's one of your gadgets. And like I said, if you swipe left or right, you will get, instead of a graph, you'll get the list of them. You can sort them by channel. So you can see, like this one, unless you really squint, you can't tell there's a line green. And if you can see, there's a line green. I don't know what the name is. You can sort them by channel, and then you can see them by name, by channel, and you can identify it, find the serial number, find the manufacturer, give you a clue, like what are you looking for. If you tap here, you'll go to 5 gigahertz. 5 gigahertz has a lot more channels. You have to actually scroll left and right if they don't fit on the screen, but it's the same idea. So it's a really useful app.
Calendar. This is a great way to, instead of writing on a physical calendar, this will actually give you notifications. You can turn on your phone, and it can play like a noise, like a bing, to try to remind you. You can put it in your calendar, basically appointments. You can set the early reminder. You can set like how many X amount of hours you want the reminder to be before an appointment or important event. You can also set the frequency, so if it's a recurring meeting, as well as you can place a widget for this app, calendar app, on your home screen, and it can then update. You can kind of more easy to stay organized on top of things.
I'm still surprised a lot of people don't know about the calendar app on the Android phone. I use it because I'm a tutor, and there's people who call me last minute or book me for weird classes outside of their regular repeating schedule. I need to put them in there, otherwise I'll forget. You can put your appointments in there. You choose the name. It looks like this. That's the widget you could put on your home screen, and that's what I have. Because then you can see, boom, the next 4 or 5 appointments. In this case, we have to go all the way to next Wednesday because it's quite weak. But you see, we're here now. I have a chiropractic appointment tomorrow. I have an ASN virtual tomorrow, chiropractor Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday's classes. They're here, right? So each of them, you can set a date, start time, end time, the name of it. You can put a location, including a link to Google Maps. If it recognizes the address, you can just click on it, takes you to Google Maps. You can set the frequency of each appointment. If it's repeating, like the classes, I didn't put every single class in there for these things. I know they're repeating every week for 12 weeks. You can set repeat once a week until number of times or until end date. You have options. It's very flexible for that. Set early reminder because, well, tutoring is in person. I need to drive someplace. I set my reminders to 30 minutes because it used to be enough time to drive anywhere in Calgary. Not so much anymore, but 30 minutes is my standard, and it just makes a little pop-up notification with the time and the name of the thing. It's a very, very useful app. If you want to remember, I have one for our garbage pickup because it's every second week, right? And I don't know when they pick it up because they make some noise, but not always, and I'm not always home, right? So I put a repeating forever Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. because Wednesday mornings are pickup. You have something special I want to throw out the night before, right? I know what the cutoff is, so it's not sitting there for 2 weeks.
Google Maps, this is another useful app. Useful, again, to find addresses, time to arrive. They take into account construction, accidents, heavy rush hour. Again, there's a bit of a time lag with that, so it's not always accurate. And well, it might be accurate when you leave, but again, things can change. But yeah, that's kind of useful. And therefore tell you kind of the best routes. So it might tell you, it'll plan sometimes, it could show you 3 routes and it'll give you the approximate time, as well as it can give the local transit options in the area. So that's another If you don't know basically the quickest way to get somewhere, it can give you the quickest way. Instead of going, for instance, Kamloops to Vancouver on Highway 1, you can go down through the Coquihalla newer highway, usually quite a bit faster. So
It's good for finding addresses. You just type it in, it'll take you right there. You click the direction button and it'll plot a route for you. Sometimes it'll plot 3 different routes. Sometimes it's well, you want to go this way, you want to go that way. And they'll tell you the estimated time for each one to the minute, right? Because, like we mentioned before, it knows traffic conditions because everybody who's got the Google Map on their phone with their data on, their phone knows where they are and how fast they're moving, and they can check periodically how long you take to go from here to here and from here to here. So Google has all this information based on where you want to go. It knows this piece of road takes this long, this piece of road takes this long. And it knows normally what the speed is based on just observation. If all of a sudden the speed is like a third of what it's supposed to be, it'll change the color on the map because traffic or construction, or there's a Calgarian around. Transit options on the Google map. There's 4 options: driving, transit, walking, flying. Flying hasn't shown up often in the places I've searched recently, but it'll find a flight for you with time of flight and the price it can find right now for like today. But the other ones, it's really good at finding connecting buses and trains for the transit. And for the walking, we've seen the example in the funny from a couple of slides ago. Moses' journey took 40 years in the desert. It's a 6-day hike according to Google Maps. So it's actually really good at finding those things. There's one thing it doesn't know though for the walking option. It doesn't know the shortcuts you can take across open fields. When the boy got lost last month, I remember the time that I eloped. I remember the journey I took, and I wanted to recreate it on the map just to show people this is where I was supposed to go, this is where I ended up because I was 5, I couldn't navigate. And the way to the grocery store, we walk up to a dead-end street, and it's a cul-de-sac, but it's the back of a strip mall there. And it's open, it's paved. You just let step on the curb, there's no fence. You just walk and you're in the parking lot, the back part of it for that, and then you go across. Couldn't do that. The street ends there. You have to go all the way around. It says, that's not the way we walk, so now the numbers don't add up. So it doesn't know about those local shortcuts. And you can find places, not by address. You can zoom in. People and business owners, they list their business on Google. So you can find like, oh, I didn't know there was a Dollarama in that strip mall or whatever. And there's other modes on Google Maps. You can go satellite view, so you can see the vegetation. You can find parks, you can find all kinds of stuff. There's the street view. So you can see from the street, you can pan around, you can move around. Don't get hit by cars, because that's what it feels like we're doing. This car's following us. And you can see what the building looks like from the front. If you're looking like, I went there, I couldn't find the front door. We go there and pan around and you can find where the door used to be, maybe. So it's really cool for that.
Google Drive, free storage. Basically, again, we talked about this a bit last week with cloud storage. The Google Drive, you basically sign into your Google account. You can work on files. Google and basically takes a copy and updates it as you go. You don't have to save. It's on Google's server, not on your computer. So yeah, that's fairly useful. You can work basically, you can share your document with other people from Google Drives. You can just add people right there. You don't necessarily have to email them the document. You can also basically, it syncs your files on the cloud. You can work on your file from your laptop, library computer at the Calgary Public Library, your iPad, whatever. You just have to sign in your Google account, and it's useful to take notes and basically have it on the cloud. And it's integrated with Gmail. It's because it's also a Google product. For Gmail, attachments too large for Gmail can get forwarded as links. If it gets forwarded as a link, you can then set basically controls like permissions, who gets to view it, and then from there they can then view the Word file.
So it's free storage. It's good for backing up files so that you have an off-site backup. We didn't talk too much about the purpose and the best way to do backups last time. We said this does backup. So and I hope the government's listening because they suck at backups. Basically, wherever you are physically, that location, you have your working copy, that's fine. Your backup, you can have one there just in case something happens to your device, that's fine. You need another backup not there. It needs to be what we call geo-redundant. You have a backup geographically somewhere else. Okay? Another place in the city is fine for most people. A place in another city is safer. What if there's a flood, a tornado, wildfires? We evacuate all Calgary or most of it, right? If your other backup is also in Calgary, it might burn down just like your original one, right? So when you use Google Drive or any other online syncing service, we talk about Dropbox, we talk about Microsoft SharePoint. OneDrive, that's Microsoft also. They have SharePoint, they have OneDrive. I don't know what the difference is. Apple has their own thing. I don't know what it's called. But basically, it's on their server, which they might have a server in Calgary or near Calgary. They might. And even if they do, they have this strategy. These online servers, these big companies, they have massively distributed backups. They have multiple servers. They don't have the same copy of everything. If one of them shuts down for whatever reason, local emergency, power's out, the internet's out at that building, whatever, there's other buildings elsewhere in the country and elsewhere in the world that have the same data. They can just take over. They don't lose anything. You can do that with your files just by using their storage. It's one of the greatest strengths of using an online backup service like that. Your file is safe. Someone who takes their stuff really seriously is taking care of your stuff too, right? Why I said the government's listening. A couple years ago, you guys might remember this. AHS had a massive failure of their server, and the server was in Calgary downtown. The backup was like the floor above. And what happened was some plumbing incident happened. The whole building got flooded top to bottom. They could have had a backup in Edmonton. No. Let's put both in the same building, vertically, one on top of another. So yeah. Integrate with Gmail, the Google Drive. If you try to, there's a size limit to attachments per email for Gmail and for other email providers. It's about 25 megs, which you would think is a lot. Not if you're sending high resolution pictures. If you exceed this size, Gmail will say, well, I can send as Google link, Google Drive link. So it'll upload it to your Google Drive, put a link in the email, the preview of the pictures there, but the actual file is on your Google Drive. And then you can send any size you want. There's no limit to the link, right? The size of your storage, which is huge. So for that, because for a long time, we had to start sending like emails in 5 different parts. Okay, here's 2 pictures, here's 3 pictures, here's 2 pictures, so that because all of them together we're adding to like 100 megs. You can put them all in your Google Drive, put links to them in one email, and you have all of them in one place. Google Translate. I'm a menace with Google Translate. Anytime I go to the store and I find something in a language I don't know, I whip out the Google Translate and I go nuts with it. So there's Camera Translate, which is actually scary how good it is. So you turn on the Google Translate app on your phone. You go to camera mode. You point your camera at what you want to translate. Say the packaging of an Asian noodle thing. You need to tell which language it is. It won't detect that. But once you do that, it'll translate in English, if that's the language you just picked for yourself. It'll translate that real time on your screen. It'll put the text on the picture, on the live view from your camera. It's really cool. That's the Camera Translate. The Mic Translate, that thing tried to get me murdered at least 3 times. My previous nonprofit was in the Korean community. And of course, their meetings are in Korean. It's a Korean association. I was there to help them with grants and strategic advice to try not to get them to go to jail. They didn't always listen, though. Of course, I don't speak a lick of Korean. That's okay. You open the same app, the Google Translate. There's a microphone button. Hold it. And whatever it hears, you have to tell them the languages again, which one is translating from and which one's translating to. It'll type it up because it recognizes the words in the original language. It takes a second for it to get going, and then it starts to write live in English underneath. It's really cool. One time I was at a multicultural festival at City Hall for Student Blast a couple years ago, and it's 2 days where they have performances from different ethnic groups, and I was there to get video for the groups that we sponsor, and we had a few of them, and they were on both days, different ones on different days, and I don't remember why. Oh yeah, so there's a group from, we're not interested in them. That's not a group that we sponsored. They're from a different community, but that's fine. And they had trouble with the microphone. It was a lady playing a traditional violin-like instrument, and her microphone kept cutting out during the performance. And I felt bad for her. I really did. The next day, I saw her again. She was going to perform again. And I went up to her and I told her, I hope the microphone works today. She couldn't understand my English. Her husband shows up. I was telling her, I hope the microphone works today. You can understand my English. Microphone mode, English to Chinese, or whichever, because I thought they were Chinese. I hope the microphone works today. They read the Chinese. So, see? Google Translate makes me funny in other languages. Google Authenticator. We talked about this last time. There's two major authenticator apps. Google is one, Microsoft another one. They work essentially the same. Just pick one that you like. Try to stick to one. I don't know if they play well together on the same phone. There's no reason they wouldn't, but it's a two-factor thing. You open the app, right? You have a whole list of all the accounts that I've set up with Google Authenticator on this. So when you log in and it asks you for your two-factor and it's Authenticator, open the app, scroll up and down to find which, I don't remember some of these. Okay, whatever. Yeah, a lot. Find the one that's for the account you're trying to log in. It has your 6-digit code right there. You see there's a countdown clock here. It's good for 1 minute. After that, new code. This is synced with their server. So the place you're trying to log into calls a server. What's the code that I'm expecting? This thing calls a server. What's the code I'm giving the guy? You type this. If they match up, you get in. It's your second factor. Because it refreshes every minute, it's not like your password. It's one password, and it's been the same one since 2012 or whatever. This refreshes every 60 seconds, right? It makes it safe. As long as your phone is safe. Okay, when I was editing the video for last week, I felt like, man, I sound harsh. All these measures of two factors, the email, the text, the authenticator, the phone call, I said those are safe as long as your phone is safe. And most people, the biggest threat to them is not people in their house. Most people, their threat is some weird hacker somewhere that your password got leaked, because websites get hacked. Every year there's at least two major safety breaches where your login, your password, whatever other personal information that is stored gets leaked. And they get that, and they start trying, let's try this on this Facebook, let's try this on here, let's try this on that. If you have 2FA, the 2FA goes to your phone. They're in Zimbabwe or whatever. They don't have access to your 2FA. You do. So that makes it safe from anonymous international hackers. Just keep your phone safe so that people around you can't get in. But the major threat is like the invisible threat from international hacking groups, right? And that keeps it safe from that. All right, we have GasBuddy, which is a very useful app at times. So it's a free app. Users, including yourself, update gas prices from stations when they're driving past them or stop at them. It has prices for each grade of gasoline offered at that station, and it says which grades are offered at that station, because not all stations have diesel, for example, right? And you can search, have the app rank prices in your location or near you, rank them by price or rank them by distance, whichever you prefer. Sometimes you find, hey, there's a cheap gas station around there, and I never knew about it, right? You can scroll around on the map, because, and this is feedback I gave to the developer of this app, because I've been using it for so long, and they used to have like a user form we can talk to each other and stuff, and he's like, we want feedback from that guy. He's been using the app for 15 years or something. And I told him, sometimes, like, I'm running low on gas, I don't need to get gas right now. I know where I'm going. I don't need to get gas there either. If there's a cheaper place along the way, I can get it there. So if there's an option to search that way or sort that way, they haven't figured that part out yet. So often I just scroll around on the map, along the path that I'm planning to take, and I look at the gas prices around there, and I'm like, hey, exit one early. There's that place. Get gas, get back on the highway, because if it's 5 cents a liter cheaper, yeah, it's worth the slight detour. Car scanner. That's the logo for it. So there's different ones. That's the one I use personally, but there's a few different free, no subscription apps that will interface, usually by Bluetooth, with, you need to get an OBD2 reader that fits in your car. And an OBD2 reader is standard. It'll fit on all cars. You need to get one on Amazon, and there's Bluetooth ones, which are the most common ones. There's Wi-Fi ones, which, why would you want Wi-Fi? Just keep it simple. Bluetooth works. And basically, you pair your phone by Bluetooth to the physical plastic thing in your OBD2 port. Then you turn on the app on your phone, and then your phone will talk to your car's computer, and you can get, if the check engine light is on, the app will tell you what the code is, with not just the number of the code, like the actual English language description of it. And you can actually turn the check engine light off if you want to. It also gives you live data from a number of parameters, including your RPMs, the speed, coolant temperature, what percent throttle are you giving, the fuel air mixture, what your O2 sensors are doing, the short-term fuel trim, long-term fuel trim. Like, you can nerd out for days with this thing. If there's anything a little bit weird with your car, just the live data might give you an idea. If it's not something that's linked to a trouble code, or even if it is, but it's kind of vague, this often gives you just enough information about the engine while it's running, says, yeah, it's probably this, it's probably that. And again, there's a lot of free apps. There's different ones. Car Scanner is the one that I use. There's other ones too. Streaming. All right, YouTube. YouTube started the whole streaming thing before Netflix made it big, because most people don't know this. Netflix is older than YouTube, yes, not as a streaming provider. It used to be a service where you rent a DVD movie by mail. They ship you a very flimsy little movie. You can play it a few times and then it just disintegrates. And they got big doing that. And then they went into streaming and they no longer do the mail-in thing. Oh, how things have changed. I remember when streaming was brand new. And you had like one main provider, which was Netflix. And you want to stream stuff, you go to Netflix. Today, the landscape has fractured. It's a whole collection of streaming services. And what most people don't know about, they think it's just like a website you subscribe to. It's more complicated than that for Netflix. Netflix, they spent a lot of money on infrastructure. They have these little boxes at major internet service providers so that when you want to watch a movie, you're not getting it from Netflix across the entire width of the continental United States. There's a local copy in your city, in the TELUS building or in the Shaw building or at a, what we call an internet interchange service. It's where major pathways of the internet meet in one building and it can hop to a different path. Think of it like an intersection for cars. Same thing for the internet. Netflix has invested a lot of money getting boxes in these interchanges and in major ISPs so that if there's a new movie that came out or a new TV show that just dropped and everybody wants to watch it, their servers are going to have a meltdown, right? But they don't. They upload the content to all these little boxes that are locally, so you're streaming it from the boxes closest to you. that means their service can cope and keep up with the demand, right? They got so good at doing this. Their service was so reliable, so dependable. A lot of people got off of cable because cable it became quickly ridiculous. The price you have to pay. Basic cable was always been cheap. You get a bunch of channels, yes, but none of the fun ones. The fun ones are all often packages. And you have to get the whole package, not just the one channel. There's a package of 5. There's only one you want. You have to get the whole package. The sports channels, they're all in one package. I don't only want, TSN or ESPN or whatever. You have to get the whole package. There's a whole package of movie channels. I just need the one of them because it has, recent movies. The other ones is like westerns that I don't watch or whatever. You still get the whole package. And it adds up. And next thing you know, you're paying $180 a month to watch TV 2 nights a week, right? This originally was like $4, $5, $7, and you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want, as opposed to the TV tells you when you have to watch, because the thing you want to watch is on a specific schedule, and that's it. So streaming, it revolutionized how we consumed media. When there's a TV show on, whether it's a new first run or if it's a rerun, they only show 1 episode at a time. And if I like this show, but I don't like this episode, I like to skip to the next one. Well, that means turn off the TV, get up, go do something, come back tomorrow or next week or whatever. Whereas now, 1 button, you have the next one. If you at the end of the episode, you know what? I like this one. Or it ends on a cliffhanger. I want to watch part 2. Turn off the TV, get up, go do something, come back tomorrow or next week when the next one is on. This? No. 1 button, you have the second one. And there's people that stay up and watch dozens of episodes back to back to back to back to back. That used to happen back in the day when they have a marathon on, which means that whatever TV station you're watching, it organizes this. Like we're going to have, the new Star Trek movies coming out. We're going to have a marathon of all the other movies or whatever, right? But now you get to decide. You can do this if you want to, or if you don't, right? Now, that became so good. It became the main way to consume TV shows and movies. And they were so good at it, a lot of people started doing what we call cutting the cord. So they canceled their cable TV subscription. A lot of people did. Some houses still have it. Most of these houses, because there's 2 main technologies for internet for your house. There's phone-based technology, which here in Calgary, it's TELUS. It used to be dial-up, and then they had DSL, and now they have fiber. All those are based on telephone infrastructure technology. The alternative is cable, which for a long time was Shaw, and now I understand they don't exist anymore. I'm not sad. It got purchased by Rogers, I mean. And that's a coaxial cable technology. Initially, when they figured out how to transmit internet through cable, the same cable that gives you the TV channel, it was way faster than at the time we had dial-up and really rudimentary DSL. Cable was way faster. But then the DSL technology got better. Now they have fiber. That is today way faster, way more dependable than cable internet. So for a long time, people had cable because, they could get the internet with it. And today, they keep their internet because they can get cable TV with it. But even the TELUS with the fiber and even with the DSL, they found a way to stream TV signals over it so you could get the TELUS TV service instead of a cable TV service. So a lot of people they cancel whichever one they have, just to keep just the internet because they don't need the TV service anymore. Netflix had massive variety. They don't specialize, and that's a great thing. You can search for anything you want. That doesn't mean you're going to find it, but one of the service providers today is going to have it if Netflix doesn't have it. Netflix at the time wasn't making any TV shows or movies. It was just buying licenses from the major studios that were making movies. And there's other streaming services that are not here because they were smaller. Some of them were just more regional also. Like there's I think it was Crave. I think it's just in Canada. It wasn't that big and never got any kind of big because you had better selection on Netflix. It still exists today, I'm sure. But now these companies, these different streaming services compete to buy the exclusive license for Canada Because if you want to watch Star Wars and Netflix gets the Star Wars license for Canada and no one else is allowed to stream Star Wars in Canada, well, you're going to subscribe to Netflix if you want to watch Star Wars, right? And that's how you kept all the other smaller ones from coming up. But then eventually, the major studios, they realized like, yeah, we're getting money from the licenses. Yeah, we are. But these guys are making a lot of money from subscriptions. We can make money from subscriptions and then bypass and still license their stuff to them. So it gives them an extra source of income and revenue. So all these guys, major studios, they said like, okay, well, we could do our own streaming service because we have a catalog of movies and TV shows going back 70 years at this point. Not all of it's on Netflix. Most of it isn't on Netflix because some of it, Netflix, whether you watch it or not, they have to pay the license to get the right to stream the show. If nobody watches, well, they pay that for nothing, right? But if Disney puts it on the old Mickey Mouse cartoons or the old movies, the ones from the 30s that are black and white that nobody watches because it's poor quality by today's standards, well, they're not going to pay a royalty or a license to themselves. They can just put it on. They own it. It's theirs, right? Same thing for, this is Peacock for NBC. This is Max from HBO Max. Paramount Plus, which I believe is CBS. They got bought and sold a couple of times since I was a kid. So they have these old shows and old movies that are not really interesting to the main population that watches movies and TV shows today, but there's still some people that would like to watch these old things. Because remember, they've been paying attention to what's been happening to their stuff for decades. Before streaming, when cable exploded to like 400 channels, there were a lot of hyper-specialized channels that just specialize in reruns of old westerns. There's a cable channel just for reruns of old westerns, not new westerns, the old ones, right? There's another one just for old sitcoms from the 80s and 90s, just that period, right? It's hyper-specialized. And those channels were getting subscribers through a whole package, but so now Disney said there's a market for our stuff, not a huge market, but enough that if we put it on there, along with our main stuff that people are attracted to today, they'll get a subscription to us instead of Netflix, and they get to watch our old stuff. The stuff that is already paid for, it's been produced, the people on it are actually dead. We can still monetize it a little bit today. So that's why these guys came in. Amazon did its own thing parallel to this. Now, what's interesting, remember, I told you Netflix invests a lot in infrastructure to make this happen so you can all stream without melting servers. And that has been their business model, technical model from the start, and they're still doing that today. Each of these guys is doing it a little bit differently. So what Netflix built, that infrastructure we're talking about, is called the CDN, Content Delivery Network. These little boxes that are in strategic places geographically, that, because they're connected together, is a content delivery network. It's a network of boxes that can ship content to your internet connection. They all need this to stream stuff smoothly to your house. There's companies out there, not them, just tech companies that developed their own content delivery network. So if you want to stream stuff, you can just rent bandwidth and space and whatever from them. So at one extreme, you have Max, which they did that. They don't have a lot of their own infrastructure. They're almost entirely dependent on multiple providers of CDN services, multiple ones, so that if one goes down, there's another one that they can route the service to, the connection to, right? That's at the other extreme. In the middle, you have, Google's not on here because they have YouTube, which is a streaming service, but not the same kind as these ones. This is like traditional media, not user content created media. And because Google has massive internet infrastructure, they have data centers with servers in major cities, major internet exchanges. So video that's highly demanded, well, it gets, we say, cached or buffered or stored locally in those boxes at strategic locations, just like the CDN we talked about. It is a CDN. So that if there's a video that's really popular in Eastern Canada, well, there's a hub in Eastern Canada, probably more than one of them, and the video is saved locally there. So you don't have to get it from the Google servers in the US or whatever. You get it from the local server to you. So it frees up bandwidth on the whole internet. Because most people don't realize this, because we stream stuff in our houses and we don't think about how much internet bandwidth it needs, because it's one or two people or three people in the house streaming at the same time, and it's fine. Most people have fast enough internet. When the last, well, not the last time, but during the Winter Olympics, I used to work at a major post-secondary campus here in Calgary, and it's a major post-secondary campus. They're actually on the backbone of the internet. Okay, the internet that goes through Calgary, it goes through their campus too, because they have the infrastructure, the IT infrastructure, to have really huge bandwidth and really amazing speeds. The universities connecting to each other used to be the backbone of the internet, and then it spread to major cities and stuff. They're on the backbone of the internet. They have the best, fastest, lowest latency connections. During major events during the Winter Olympics, like when the men's hockey team was playing, we couldn't work anymore. The internet stopped working because there were so many people, every person on their laptop or their phone on campus was watching the game live. And then the rest of us, like, I need to download an update to the patch for the thing for the robot, and then I can't. The internet down. We overwhelmed the capacity of the internet. That's what happens if everybody gets their video from the source at the same time. If there's a local node, you have less traffic on the internet. It goes through your local node instead. So because it was like a live event, it couldn't forecast ahead of time. And also, it's a live event. You can't buffer a live event. It's not live anymore. But for things like TV shows and movies from Netflix and the other ones, they can tell everyone's watching this, everyone's gonna watch this, right? If it's pre-recorded and you're dropping the new season tonight, it can take a couple of days and just like upload it to the local nodes. So everybody goes nuts at midnight when it drops, and then you're getting from your local node, not from the backbone of the internet. Amazon, after they got bored with selling books in the 90s when they started, they went into selling other stuff, but then they went into web hosting. Okay, AWS is called Amazon Web Services. And most of the internet today, most of the major websites, they run on hosting from AWS. So they have massive data centers of servers to deliver websites. They develop their own version of a CDN because they have data centers everywhere. They can have their content delivery nodes just about everywhere. And these guys started renting space from AWS for the content delivery. And Amazon saw like, hey, this Netflix competition thing, that's working. And then they started to have their own video streaming service, which uses their own infrastructure. And that's how these guys compete. They're doing essentially the same service, but the infrastructure behind it is a little bit different. Disney does a thing that's super interesting in terms of technology development. They're investing a lot in data compression and that kind of stuff because we're going to higher and higher and higher resolutions for the streaming. 1080p used to be really good. Then we have 4K, and that is still really good. Now 8K is coming around, right? For people that have really, really big TVs, 8K makes a difference. But every time you do that, you multiply the bandwidth that you need, the internet speed that you need by 4 or 5. Okay, that's a huge leap. Disney's investing a lot in compression algorithms so that they can stream stuff at higher bit rates using lower bandwidth. So yes, they're competing for the same service offering, but the technology that underpins these services is slightly different. Each one has a different strategy. But basically, today, Netflix has fewer and fewer licenses of stuff because these guys like to keep it for themselves. They're going to keep their own good stuff to force people to go subscribe to them. And because these guys have a huge catalog, each one does, their subscription is higher because they know they have the good stuff and they don't have to pay royalties for this. So they know people don't have a choice. They will go to them for major Disney releases. They can't go to Netflix anymore. So then Netflix and Amazon started making their own TV shows, their own movies. And some of them are actually really good. So that's the landscape of this. Simplest thing to do, look for which provider has the content that you want to watch and subscribe to that one. So the one negative about the streaming services is that when you subscribe, like it's like your first time you're switching to this service with this provider, it's because there's something on there you want to watch. Okay? Whether you want to watch the old Star Trek movies or the new Star Wars or the this or the that. The content is there. You subscribe. Then a month later, the thing you subscribed for is gone. Okay? They do this all the time. They're not doing it to be mean. We think they are, but they're not. It's their license expires. And sometimes they don't renew this license, either because the price went up and they didn't want to do that, or someone else got the exclusive license for that part of the world, that country, or they decided to, you know what, we have this much to spend on licenses this month. We want to get this new show because we haven't had it, so we'll remove this old show and put this new show or movies or whatever. So they're always managing the licenses that they have. So the content, new stuff gets added, old stuff gets removed, old stuff comes back. It's a whole juggling act. Geofencing. It means a restriction on being able to stream content based on location. And usually we mean like country. When a new TV show comes out, or the new season of a TV show comes out, sometimes the latest season is not available in a specific country, either because one of the other providers has the license, or they were asking so much for that country for that season that nobody said, like, we're not getting the license for that show for this country or for that season. If they wait a little bit, the price goes down. So there's a lot of managing that they do that. And then the people in that country, they get mad. They've been watching like the past 6 seasons, now it's the last season, and it's not on the service that, or any service that they're subscribed to, because their country has not had anybody pay the license to stream it. So then people start faking which country they're in, and there's tricks we'll talk about next topic, I think, on how to make the internet think you're not where you really are. And when Netflix was brand new in Canada, people did that because the Canadian Netflix had almost nothing on it. It was empty. But the US Netflix had a bunch of stuff on it. So people subscribed to US Netflix. They did the trick. A lot of people got really good at computers all of a sudden to fake their location to be in the US, and they could stream stuff from the US Netflix. After many years of that, Netflix Canada started getting a lot of interesting things on it, and then people are less likely to do that. Today, the offering on Netflix, since they started populating it, has been, I think, excellent. But sometimes there's a specific movie or specific TV show not available in your country on your service, but it's available in another country on the same service. Just change your location, it logs you into that other server instead, and you get to stream. One example is a guy I follow on YouTube. He's a Swedish guy who lives in Spain. I don't get it, but whatever. And he likes to follow Swedish media, but he's in Spain. And most of the stuff is available there. But he said one time he went on a vacation in, I think it was Thailand. And apparently there's a Swedish TV show about a guy who goes on vacation in Thailand. I think it's a comedy. And they thought, you know what? It'd be cool if we'd watch that Swedish show about the guy who goes in Thailand while we're in Thailand. Except it wasn't available there. So they had to do the little ninja trick to change the location and to make it look like they're back in either Sweden or Spain or whatever. And they could watch the show in Thailand pretending they're not in Thailand, because that show was not available to stream in Thailand from the same service. Because of this, many people rotate their subscription. Let's say I want to binge this specific TV show. Let's say, Next Generation Star Trek. And there's like 178 episodes. And I do some math. If I watch, 2 a day, it's going to take me like 3 or 4 months to go through the whole thing. So I could be subscribed to whichever service has that. And when I'm done, Well, do I watch another Star Trek show or want to watch something else? Maybe I want to watch something Disney. Okay, pick a thing, figure out how much you want it for, how long you want it for, and just cancel your Netflix and go to Disney. When you're done watching that, cancel your Disney, go to HBO and catch up on another show, right? People do that because some of them are like in the $30 a month range, each service. I put up 6 of them on the last screen. It adds up, right? You can get up that $180 a month that cable used to be. This is still better than cable in every measurable way, but the price just crept up and people just jump around from one provider to the next, and they just go around based on what they want to watch for the next month, next 2 months, 3 months. They plan ahead, and then say, "Oh, you know what? I'm done with Netflix. Let's go to Amazon Prime for a while." Right? Amazon Prime. So Prime Video is included with an Amazon Prime membership, just the lowest level. So a lot of people have Amazon Prime to have fast shipping, quick shipping, and often most people don't know this. Some items are cheaper. The price is cheaper if you have an Amazon Prime subscription. When I bought this camera that's filming right now, I bought a bunch of accessories for it on Amazon Prime. I bought a lens cover, like a lens, a filter, not a cover. I use it as a dust filter, but dust cover, whatever. SD card, I got batteries and a charger, and a couple of other things. Got a bag for it. And I was shopping around, I saw the prices, and then for half of them, it says like price with Amazon Prime. It was like a few dollars cheaper. And I bought a few things, and it's like, I could say $40, not on shipping, $40 on the price of the items if I get Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime was like $99 for the year. Well, I get half of it as a discount right now. Plus, it has Amazon Video. We had Netflix at the time. That was going up to like $18 a month. So I'm getting my $40 back, and I'm saving $18 a month on the Netflix thing. Just the Netflix thing, the $18 a month times 12, how much is that? It's like $210 a year. So for $99 a year, I save all the $210 that I'm paying for Netflix. I got $40 off my camera accessories. And I told the wife, see if your weird TV shows are on this. And they were. So resolution, the native app. Each of these has their native app. You can watch it on your phone or on your TV or on your laptop. The native app always has the best resolution because the app can check. These guys are worried about you stealing their stuff. Okay? So the app, each of their app will check if the device it's running on is what they call a secure platform, meaning it's not going to grab or keep the content that it's streaming. It streams, it shows it to you, but the device immediately forgets about it, okay? If their app can run with the permissions that they want, then that's safe, and they will run at the best resolution that the content is meant for. If you're running this in a browser, usually the best resolution you get is 720p, which is DVD quality. It's not bad, but if you get a 4K TV and you're just stream stuff at 720p, you could have gotten a cheaper TV, right? And that's why TVs and PlayStations and Xboxes and other devices and Roku's, that's why many of them have an app installed on their device because it allows you to stream with a higher quality. For a phone, if you're streaming on your phone, 1080p is an excellent resolution. You usually don't see the difference going to 4K. Your screen is just too small and too close to your, at the distance it is from your eyes, at the size that it is, 1080p, there's not really a point to go higher than that. And the thing is, for Netflix at least, I'm not sure about the other ones, for Netflix, the base account, the cheapest one they have, it has a lot of ads, and it caps the highest resolution you can go and watch stuff. If you want 4K, you have to have a higher tier of membership, which makes sense. It actually streams more data from their service. You're using more of the service, you should pay more. But for a phone, 1080p is plenty. If you're watching on a TV that's, big TV, 4K, you can see a difference. Ads. ads. You used to not have ads from this, which was another selling feature for Netflix. You watch cable, they have ads. And back in the day, we had ads everywhere when you're watching TV, over the air or cable, it didn't matter, just ads. And we knew, like, for some channels, they're free channels, right? You don't even need cable to watch them. You just get cable to get better quality picture. But the ads were, paying for the operating cost of the TV station. But then you have the premium channels on cable. You have to pay extra for them, and they have ads too. And that was upsetting. And then Netflix showed up in this mess and says, yeah, no ads. You want a toilet break? You pause it when you want to, and go get it, right? The phone rings, you can pause it. You can't pause live TV at the time. You couldn't. Today, you can, because nobody knows what live TV means anymore. But then it became where these guys, even the free, or not the free, the lowest tiers have ads. You want fewer ads, you have to pay for a higher tier. And I don't know if they have a tier that has no ads at all. I'd be shocked if they did. Yeah, fewer ads. Number of devices. So if you want to run on more than one thing, like if you want to share this with your family in your house, you're not allowed to share passwords anymore. You used to be able to have up to 4 logins from 4 different houses. They didn't care because they were the only king in town. Now they have competition from all these other guys. They lost a lot of subscribers because a lot of people switched their subscription to other providers. So now they said, yeah, no password sharing. So if you want to have more devices, it's not necessarily more devices streaming at the same time. It's more devices that are connected to this account. So if you want to watch on your TV, on your laptop, and on your phone, even though it's you and only you and you are on 3 devices, one at a time, not at the same time, that's still 3 devices. So higher tiers allow you to stream on more devices. So thank you for watching our video. If you want to subscribe to our channel, you can click here. If you want to go back to the previous topic, click up here. If you want to click to the next topic, just go here. If you want the playlist with all our classes, please click here.